It is recording?
Yes.
Love you.
Bye.
Hey everybody, so you read the title, you're probably a little bit concerned. If you're new to this channel, you're probably like, why would you post Meltdown videos in the first place? There's a lot to unpack, so please stick around for the whole video so you get the whole context. First thing is first, for those who have been with the channel a while, they've noticed we haven't been uploading any Meltdown videos for quite a long time. And there's a reason for that. Some people have asked, have your children stopped having meltdowns? Are they getting better? Basically, yes, our kids still have meltdowns. It's a lot more rare for Ian, our oldest, to have meltdowns because he's on medication. It has improved things drastically, but he still does have meltdowns, especially when we forget his medication, which is very rare, but there's been a day or two where we forgot his medication and he lets us know, sure enough, that autism is still there in full force, and he'll have a sensory meltdown, or he'll just get overwhelmed, or he'll have a really bad tantrum if he doesn't get his way. So that element is still very much a part of our lives. Alistair, it's rare for him to have meltdowns. Usually he's just stimming. That's his version of autism. And but he still does get them, as you can see from the footage. Okay, now speaking to people who are new to our channel, and according to our analytics, the vast majority of people who watch our videos are newcomers and not subscribers. You're probably wondering why we would shoot videos of our kids having meltdowns in the first place, and it's a legitimate concern, and I do understand that it looks a little bit odd, or it might even seem like we're trying to shame our children, which I assure you we are not. I think it's terrible when people try to shame their children online. We're also not trying to exploit our children, as some people have suggested. We simply want to educate others. The very first Meltdown video we did, we made it because we wanted people to see things from our perspective. A lot of people are like, why would you put out something that's private? Well, it wasn't private. It was in the middle of a mall and everyone could see it. So we were like, well, why don't we put out something that explains why our kids behave this way in public? Because we can't always control when or where it happens. And because of that video, it spurred a lot of conversation. I think most people were genuinely understanding of what was going on, and it helped a lot of people. When we first got on YouTube, when we first learned about Ian and his autism, it helped us to see autism meltdown videos because, first of all, we started to learn what it looked like, and then we started to rely on other parents on how to deal with things like that, looking forward into the future. And I'm glad we did, because it really helped us out. And we've gotten similar comments to that. Now, currently our comments are disabled. YouTube has disabled comments for most of our channel. There's still a couple of videos where the comments section is active. Have no control over it whatsoever. But we have received comments of people requesting us to make more Meltdown videos. Now, what are some of the other reasons why we would do Meltdown videos besides trying to educate people? Well, a lot of people request these Meltdown videos because, one, it helps them feel like they're not alone in the world. It can feel very isolating to have your autistic kid melt down, have people give you dirty looks in public, feel like no one understands what you're going through. And so when people get online and they see other people dealing with the same struggles, it provides a certain level of comfort for them. Again, it also helps people to know what signs to look for. It helps, at least in mature people, create more compassion because they see what people with autism are going through. And instead of pointing fingers and judging, they're like, well, this kid might be having some anxiety issues, some sensory issues. Maybe instead of saying, what a bratty kid, we can help out now. There's a lot of other reasons to show kids having meltdowns, such as knowing how to prevent the meltdown from occurring in the first place. If you know what signs come beforehand, before a meltdown, such as excessive stimming, clicking, grunting, growling, you can know that your child is probably going to have a meltdown unless you remove them from the situation or provide some level of comfort to them, whether it's headphones or maybe sunglasses or a weighted blanket or something to that effect. So meltdown videos can help in that instance. And again, we've had people in the past say, why don't you just write about it? Why do you have to show it? Well, if you write something down, that's a word. If you take a picture, it's worth 1,000 words. If you have a video, to me, it's worth 1,000,000 words. Videos simply show more context. I should also explain that in all of this, we have asked our kids for consent. We do not post these videos without their consent. We do not just throw them up there and say, we don't care what our kids' feelings are, or things like that. That's one of the reasons why you don't see our middle child, Connor, you rarely see videos about him or his meltdowns. He's a lot more shy than other two boys. Sometimes he's given us permission and said, yeah, I'll allow you to show that. Other times he hasn't. We do respect their wishes. Okay, so I've given you a lot of reasons why to show autism meltdown videos, but now I kind of want to transition into why we shouldn't. And it's not so much that we're embarrassed by autism, and I don't think anyone should be embarrassed by handicaps at all. If our kids were in wheelchairs or if they had Parkinson's and we shot videos of them, I don't feel like we should be embarrassed by that. And just in the same vein, I don't feel like we should be ashamed of showing our kids in a vulnerable position when they're having a meltdown. But there are some things I have to consider as a parent. I'm not just looking out for people on YouTube, of course, I'm looking out for my family. Some people also have pointed out in comments, and I take all your feedback, and I kind of have to filter it and decide what will work for our family, what won't. Someone recently said that they had meltdown videos online and it became a little bit more difficult for them to get hired in a job because they Googled this person, this individual, and they found some of these meltdown videos, and then the future employer thought, well, it might be kind of difficult to hire this person if they're going to have sensory meltdowns, things like that. Now, there are laws preventing employers from having a bias towards handicapped people and things like that, but let's be real. They probably keep that to themselves. If they see someone with a handicap, an employer will most likely, and I want to think better of people, but there's a lot of people out there who will see someone with a handicap and say, I don't really think I want to hire this person. They're going to be more trouble than they're worth. And so I have to think about, as Ian gets older, as he becomes a teenager, there's that aspect. As he becomes a teenager, obviously there's more hormones and other factors that go into play. And I find people are less forgiving of teenagers than they are of little children. So that's a factor. Will people still look on Ian and his sensory meltdowns in the same light as they did when he was a kid? An example would be like if a little kid is having trouble with potty training and they wet their pants. Some parents might say, oh, that's adorable, or, you know, poor little thing, like, let's get you a fresh pair of pants. If a teenager does it, it's a little bit more weird. If an adult does it, then it's an awkward situation. I'm just speaking of society and their rules. These aren't the rules that I make up. So generally speaking, I think people are a little less forgiving of adults behaving certain ways, and I also think that goes into, you know, meltdowns. And so as a father, I have to ask, if I keep showing videos of my kids having meltdowns, first of all, is it really educating beyond anything we've shown before? And to me, the answer is no. We don't have any real new information besides the videos we've uploaded. We've shown Ian having an anxiety attack with a meltdown, Ian having a tantrum mixed with a meltdown, meaning a tantrum that's led into a meltdown. We've had videos showing him with like a horrible belly ache and having a hard time with his autism in that regard. So unless there's a new element to show as far as Ian and his meltdowns, it's kind of just being redundant. And I really don't want my kids to be poster children for autism meltdowns. If you Google up autism meltdowns, more than likely you're going to see one of our videos. And I don't want my kids to be typecast, so to speak, and then be like, oh, hey, yeah, I saw you in one of your videos. You're the meltdown kid, you know? You're the kid who's always having sensory meltdown issues and things like that. And I don't want to bring up my kids in that aspect, like they're on the Truman Show and everyone recognizes from what that. And speaking of which, there are people now, we're over 100,000 subscribers, and we have had people stop us in the store and say, hey, I watch your videos, and most people give us really positive feedback, like they're really helpful. I never understood these aspects about autism. Thank you for posting that. But beyond a certain point, yeah, I do feel it would be redundant to show, you know, meltdown video after meltdown video, even though people do find them comforting. They do leave positive comments about it. That's very wonderful. We appreciate the feedback. But yeah, as a father, I have to look out for my sons and realize there are pros and cons to everything. If I keep posting stuff like this, it could affect future employment, future marriage opportunities, even future friendships, all of those things. And it might seem like I'm flip-flopping, like I was for autism meltdown videos, now I'm against it. No, that's not really it at all. I just see things from both sides. And right now my feeling is I don't think that we should continue to post autism meltdown videos unless there's something really, really significant that's worth showing, that's a game changer, something that would be so different from our previous videos that I'll be like, hey, everybody, you need to see this. This is something new to the autism community. This is something new to our family, something you've never seen before. But I don't see that happening right now, especially with Ian on his medication. Things have gotten better. I was a bit naive going into YouTube when I first started it. I judged better things of the world, and I figured most people would see our videos and be like, wow, you've opened up a whole new world to me. I didn't realize autism was like this. Thank you for sharing it. And again, most people who respond to our videos, they convey that message that they really appreciate what we're doing. But there is that very large crowd that refuse to understand things from our perspective. And if anything, they make matters worse by bullying, by being mean. Again, I did understand that going into it, but I just didn't understand how prevalent it was, especially as our world gets more and more evil, for lack of a better term. So yeah, I guess I'm trying to protect my kids, in a manner of speaking, as they grow older. And if people find meltdown videos from them in the past, again, I think they'll be more forgiving because they're little kids and they'll be like, that was in the past, and now they're an adult. I'm sure things have changed. And even if they haven't changed, at least our kids can, defend themselves a little bit better and say, I've got things more under control, instead of someone, Googling their name and just seeing a bunch of meltdown videos and being like, well, I can't work with this person. I can't deal with this person. I can't become a friend or get in a relationship with this person. So I hope that makes sense. I'm sure there's some things I left out of the video for both pros and cons of meltdown videos, but I'm just getting the feeling right now that we just need to back off. I felt that for some time, and that's probably why you've noticed we haven't uploaded any meltdown videos. So I appreciate your guys' understanding. I hope that all made sense. We will continue to produce autism videos and educational videos to help the public understand a little bit better, we hope. And yeah, that's it for now. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks.